In a remote Bavarian farmstead, a family was brutally murdered in their sleep, leaving behind one of the most baffling and horrifying mysteries in German history. What really happened that night at Hinterkaifeck? This is the story of a crime so disturbing, it still haunts the minds of those who hear it. March 31, 1922. Hinterkaifeck was a secluded farmstead located between the Bavarian towns of Ingolstadt and Schrobenhausen. It was home to the Gruber family, Andreas Gruber, his wife Kazilia, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, and Victoria's two children, Kazilia and Joseph. The family led a quiet, isolated life, but in the days leading up to the murders, strange things began to happen. Andreas Gruber discovered footprints in the snow leading from the forest to the house, but there were no tracks leading back. He heard footsteps in the attic at night, but when he checked, he found nothing. The family dog barked at seemingly nothing, and keys to the house went missing. Despite these ominous signs, the family did not leave the farm. On April 4th, when neighbors noticed that the family hadn't been seen for several days, they grew concerned. The mail had piled up, and young Kazilia hadn't shown up for school. A group of neighbors decided to check on the Grubers. What they found inside the farmhouse was beyond comprehension. Andreas, his wife, daughter, and granddaughter were found stacked on top of each other in the barn, their bodies covered with hay. Each had been brutally murdered with a mattock, a farm tool similar to an axe. Young Joseph was found dead in his crib, and the family's new maid, who had only started working there the day before, was also killed in her bed. The brutality of the murders was shocking. Each victim had suffered numerous blows to the head, and their bodies showed signs of severe trauma. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the killer, or killers, had stayed in the house for several days after the murders. They had fed the livestock, eaten the family's food, and even slept in their beds. This eerie detail added another layer of horror to the already disturbing crime. Despite an extensive investigation which included interrogating over 100 suspects, the case went cold. The lack of clear motives, evidence, and witnesses turned the Hinterkaifeck murders into one of Germany's most infamous cold cases. Theories about the identity of the killer ranged from a vengeful lover to a traveling criminal, but no one was ever charged with the crime. The Hinterkaifeck farmstead was eventually demolished, but the gruesome legacy of what happened there remains. The story serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones that walk among us. The unsolved nature of the case continues to haunt those who hear it, leaving us to wonder what really happened on that isolated farm and who was responsible for such a horrific act. As we close this chapter, one question remains: who committed the Hinterkaifeck murders, and why? The lack of answers only deepens the sense of dread surrounding this case, leaving us to wonder what really happened on that isolated farm. If this story intrigued you, make sure to subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay curious and remember, the scariest stories are often the ones that are real.